The thing that gets me, Jeff, on the current AEW stuff is whenever, they come out that they're the number one show, and let's say it's 900,000. The WWE tribalists I don't even think it's necessarily tribalists. People just like to argue. They just like to be right. They want to, ha ha, I want to be an antagonist. I want to take a different view. I get that. But my God, when they're like, yeah, it may have been the number one show, but still less than 1 million people watched it. So, like, if the network's happy, I mean, context is the key to life. Eric Bischoff always says it on our show, 83 Weeks. Context is king. If you're number one, I mean, now listen, I'll admit I was educated here in Alabama, but I don't know how much higher they go than number one. Like, to me, number one, like, they list all the other shows and they were below them, right? Yeah. So they're the best. Yeah. Well, that's pretty good.
Well, and we were number one on Spike. And I'd love to sit here and tell you, well, even in our down months, Conrad, in TNA, we did 1 billion viewers. You don't see that now, do you, pal? I mean, I'd love to stick my chest out. The reality is, in these days, Spike was in, let's just say, 88 to 93 million homes, so whatever it is, mid 80s to low 90s, whatever it was in that era. Now, 73, 75. They've lost 20 million homes to cord cutters. Oh, let's go over and look at this YouTube page. That segment got 600,000 views in the last 24 hours. Oh, yeah, but a third of that's India. Okay. 400,000. What are we talking about, guys? Wrestling is killing it across the board in content creation, and content views. It's killing it.
Here's the thing I want us to do better with as a community.
Oh, I want to hear this.
If you like wrestling, like if you really like wrestling, and let's be clear, if you're jumping on an app called X and talking about wrestling, you really like wrestling. I run into people in my everyday life, just casually. I'll be sitting at the bar counter at the boot, and on a Monday night or a Wednesday night or a Friday night, wrestling will be on, and someone at the bar will start talking about, oh man, I hadn't seen this in years. That's a casual wrestling fan. My man ain't got a strong opinion about what the ratings were of that show. He ain't going to talk in and chime in about it the next day. So my point is, if you're going on social media and talking about wrestling, you're a wrestling fan. Why are you rooting against wrestling? Like, if I love something, why do I talk trash about it all the time? Like, we talked about toxic fan bases. I thought for a long time Alabama had toxic fan base. Like, I'll never forget, after Saban had won like his second national championship for Alabama, if we lost a game or had a bad drive or whatever, I would see and hear people who were season ticket holders in tickets around me, Nick Saban's got to be fired. And I'm thinking, what are you talking about? He just won 2 national titles. Even before that, like, I don't understand how these armchair quarterbacks and fans exist. And I get it, but I'm saying this is supposed to be fun. And if you really love this thing, why would you want to pull against it? Like, I understand you might say, well, I didn't like that show. Okay. Would wrestling be better served if that show went away? Would this thing you say you love be better served if less people were interested in becoming professional wrestlers because it was impossible to make a living? Isn't it better for the industry and the things you enjoy? Do you have a better chance of enjoying it in the future if more people are trying to actively get in that business? If more people are actively trying to watch that business? Do you think they'll create more merch and more shows? Or do you think that this shit just exists in a vacuum and some sucker billionaire is just going to drop out of the sky and start writing checks? That's not reality. That's not the way it works. These are real businesses that are making money and are trying to gauge the audience. And if you're constantly voting, but it's only with a negative vote, shut the fuck up. You're hurting wrestling. Like, if you really like this, you should pull for it, right, Jeff?
Yeah, it's so much about life is this simple. Grow up.
Yeah.
Little kids complain when they run out of ice cream. Wait, you just ate a half a pint. Yeah, but I wanted more. Oh, guess what? Just be grateful that you had ice cream today. Oh, I mean, it's Conrad.
I'm just saying, I know you and I are mutually aligned on this. I want MLW to set an attendance record at their next show. I want Triple Mania to sell more pay-per-views than they ever have for the next Triple Mania.
Yes.
I hope for certain that Impact sets a record at every live event they go to for the rest of the year. I hope WWE has to cut all comps off. I hope every show is at full capacity.
Yeah, there you
I
go.
hope Wembley Stadium, that they have to get an overflow venue next door to it for 8. That's good for the industry. Like, I don't understand how people are negative. Like, this is, if you really like this thing, you should want people who are in it to make more money. You should want more people to want to be in it. You should want there to be more places to create more jobs for people to work. Said differently, if this was another industry, man, I hope they shut down restaurants. I went to a bad one last night, and I hope they just shut them all down.
For sure.
And on the way to the Atlanta last week, Jeff, we swung through a McDonald's. They gave us the wrong order. I hope they all go out of business. My life would be better if there was no more McDonald's. I'm going to get on social media and start, what is wrong? What's going on, Jeff?
It happened.
People got brain worms.
Dude, but I also think it's sports. Yes, you talk about your Saban fans. There's something about professional wrestling that emotional connection. People live vicariously through characters, and then they become their own character. And I hate Jeff. I don't like, whatever. They loved it. It's just human nature. It's literally, that's why professional wrestling, at the end of the day, they're the greatest fans on earth. I have always said that once I've really tried to think things through, and I'm talking about.
Oh, I totally agree. There's no better fan base, but I do think that life would be a lot easier for them, Jeff. They would enjoy it more if they just watch the show, record the show. Hey, listen, don't hate watch. Damn, DVR it. Fast forward and watch the stuff you like, and if it's something you don't like, hit fast forward. I did on Jeff a lot when I was a kid.
That's right.
But seriously, like, why are you hate watching stuff? I don't get it. Or rooting against it. Man, this company's ratings are down. Yay. Let's say that differently. I want people to lose their jobs. Yay. You're a turd human. Why would you vote for that?
Oh, Conrad, it's human nature.
I just think it's so much. And by the way, let me just say this. If all that comes out of your mouth is negative, people don't want to be around you.
I was going to say, they're unhappy.
They're unhappy, but I'm just saying nobody says, man, I can't wait to see this guy. He's so negative. He just drains me every time. What?
Nope. That's a bingo right there.
Try to add value